Okay, perfect. Right. Just making sure the recording's all on, because I did do one recently, Phil, and I hadn't put the recording on, and it was very annoying because everyone wanted the recording and they couldn't have it. Even a couple of people today have emailed in last minute and go, please make sure it's recorded because I do want to watch it. So yeah, really looking forward to this session today, and we've got people coming in now, which is wonderful. So this session today will be hosted on many others. So we do have the chat function running. So if you can hear us, just say yes or hello or hi, will be absolutely fantastic to make sure you can hear us successfully. We will have the question and answers open as well. So if you do have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to answer and use the wealth of knowledge that we've got with our wonderful partner, Phil. Hi there, Michelle. Wonderful, lovely to see you. So I'll just quickly share my screen first of all, and we'll get things underway for you all. Okay, so wonderful. Today we're joined by the wonderful Phil Bray, but I'd like to start off a little bit by those of you that don't know us. So we are Antony George Recruitment. We're the UK's first financial planning subscription-based recruitment agency. Effectively, we fix all the costs of recruitment for all of our clients and spread that cost of recruitment over 12 months. And we operate only in the financial planning space. Some additional services that we provide that not a lot of people are aware of is the business consultancy. We are very big on retention and culture and understanding that as a cultural piece, as well as our WhatsApp communities. We're now sitting, surprisingly, which we can't believe, nearly 1,300 members across all of our communities. So we're really, really proud to kind of see that growing and developing, and lots of people getting value from it. But one of the main things we do quite often is these sessions. We run these every single month, and it's really supported by our wonderful partners. These are just some of our partners that we work very, very closely with, all done on a non-profit basis. So they're not paid partners. You know, we've joined up with them because they're adding some fantastic value to the industry. And today we're joined by one of our wonderful partners, Phil. For those of you that don't know Phil, he's the founder and director of the Yardstick Agency, now the highest rated agency specializing in financial services. Phil has worked in financial services for over 20 years, started at Coalface as a financial advisor, before moving into marketing. He started as head of marketing at a financial planning practice and a network before setting up the Yardstick Agency back in 2017. The Yardstick has a team of around 48 staff that may have grown slightly. We can find out from Phil, where they provide a marketing strategy, websites, branding and design services, from blogs, newsletters, social media services, and inbound marketing to its clients. So Phil, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Lewis. Thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
Right, I'm going to try and share my screen. This is the hardest bit of the presentation. Let me do this, then that.
You're a professional, Phil. There you go.
Can you see a PowerPoint now?
I can see the PowerPoint.
Can you still see a PowerPoint?
I can still see the PowerPoint. Wonderful.
Fantastic. What can go wrong? Right. So what we're going to be talking about today, practical ways that marketing can support your recruitment. And oftentimes when firms come to us, they think the only way we can potentially help firms from a marketing perspective is in the generation of new leads and new clients. And that clearly, for most firms, is incredibly important. But marketing can also help your recruitment efforts and support your recruitment efforts, and that's what we're going to talk about today. It can also help, as I was talking to a planning firm about yesterday, help your acquisition efforts. Because much of what potential team members and potential vendors or acquirers are interested in are the same things that potential clients are interested in. But today we're going to focus on the practical ways marketing can help support your recruitment. Who knows, Lewis, we might do another webinar in the future about how marketing can support your acquisition strategy.
Absolutely.
Please do, though, ask questions in the Q&A or the chat, which Lewis will keep an eye on. Otherwise, you're only going to get me talking at you for the next 45 minutes, and nobody wants that. Do give me feedback. I know there are firms on this call who have got multiple advisors in their teams, multiple support staff. So if you see something I'm talking about today that you've got a different experience of, or you disagree with, then please do share your experiences. And that will help improve this presentation for everybody. So do ask questions, do give feedback, and do share your experiences. Let's start by identifying the problem, if that's okay. And for me, talking to advice firms, and I speak to advice firms, as I'm sure you do, Lewis, every day of the week, sometimes on a Saturday as well, but every day of the week, there is a supply and demand problem out there. There is, for many roles, there is more demand than supply. We also have a situation where candidates are potentially more discerning than they ever were about where they work, the benefits they'll get, the culture and values of the place they will work at, but also the value that business is adding to their clients. We've obviously got the changing work environment. This time 4 years ago, it was as sunny as it is today, but we'd all locked down, hadn't we? And whilst many people have returned to work, that was a catalyst for the Great Resignation and people to change their desires from work, how they want to work, etc. Just look at Yardstick. On a Friday, I'm in the office right now. On a Friday, I am the only one in the office. Pre-COVID, the office was full because we were going to the pub on a Friday. It's full today because the girls are off out for somebody's hen do later on, so it's pretty full today. But things have changed. And then we've got the amount of noise that's out there for both employers and employees. And in my experience, employers, business owners take a very reactive approach to recruitment. I know in the past we've been guilty of that with Yardstick. Somebody joins, it's working out, they leave. Oh, we need to hire. My view now is that firms should be constantly hiring, even if they don't have roles, because it's better to have a surplus of supply rather than no supply when you need it. Lewis, would you echo that? Is there anything you would change on there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. See, I think the clients that we work with quite close at the moment, we meet them every 2 weeks. So we really understand the challenges of really what's going on, but we also have them conversation what's coming in the future as well. So a lot of our clients will want us to continue to keep an ear to the ground, continue to us to prospect potential individuals, because particularly advisors, you've got to consistently be in contact with those, because it's sometimes the timing of when the time is just about right. Same with really experienced power planners, and suddenly when an opportunity does arise, they want to be able to take them on immediately. And when you find a really good candidate, I'm sure everyone will probably agree, whether you need them or not, if they're a very, very good candidate, you will take them on board. So for a lot of clients, they want us to continuously work on them because they are an actively growing business. And they're happy to take the initial hit with their salary for, say, 3 months until they're really needed, because the skill set is there. And like you said, the supply and demand. So I have to agree with that.
Well, if that's the problem, what are the solutions? And for me, the solution is to develop. I'm very conscious that I'm presenting this, Lewis, to somebody who knows far more about recruitment than I do. But for me, the way to deal with this is to develop a strategy. Allocate time and resources and work on your recruitment using some of these tips that come from a marketing background, even when you don't have vacancies. So rather than ABC, always be closing, ABR, always be recruiting. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So if that's setting the scene and the problem, these are 10 tips that we've seen work at Yardstick, we've seen work with other firms, and we've helped work with other firms that probably come under the heading of marketing. But at the end of the day, to a prospect, you are selling your business to the money. You are selling your financial planning services, your power planning services, your admin services, whatever they are. Here, you are selling a role, a business, a lifestyle to potential candidates. So it's still a marketing challenge. And I do think it needs to be reframed in that way. So let's dive into the top tips. And this for me is number one. We need to write great job adverts. And a job description is not the same as a job advert. Your job advert should be passionate, full of energy. It needs to sell the role and sell the business. to the potential candidate or to potential candidates, plural. You've got to sell it. You've got to impress them. You've got to attract them. You've got to excite them. Your culture needs to shine through because that's probably the first interaction they're going to have with your business. They're going to have other interactions, often before the interview or even before submitting an application. They'll look on your website. They might look at your online reviews. They might spend a little bit of time on Glassdoor looking at reviews of your business and what it's like to work for you. But your job advert is the first time that they probably interact with your business. And therefore, it's so important to get it right. And what we don't want is a dry, dull, technical job description. We want something that's vibrant, passionate, and full of energy. I also think we need to demonstrate to candidates what it's like working in the business. So we talk about showing rather than telling when it comes to social proof and clients, showing the value of working with your business rather than telling them the value. And here, rather than telling candidates about your culture of the business, we need to show them the culture of the business. How do you do that? We do things through testimonials from existing team members, staff survey results. I don't know how many of the businesses on here run staff surveys, but let's say, well, Yardstick, for example, when we're doing our job adverts, we quote our employer Net Promoter Score. It's quoted in there. I think we might even quote previous years. Also, think about things like staff videos. Get members of your staff to record a video about what it's like working here, pop it into the job advert. Because this is two-way. Yeah. It's not about we are doing people a favor coming to work for us. It's a two-way approach. It's not a parent-child, it's a parent-parent approach. And we're also in the job advert need to give candidates what they want to see. So some research from Hayes, 80% want a detailed job description, 2/3 want to know the role requirements, and not far off, 6 out of 10 want to know what they're going to get paid and what other benefits they are going to give. What's your view on that, Lewis, about whether you put, salary and package into the job advert?
Absolutely. I mean, clients that always say they're not happy to promote or share the salary bandings tend to find that we're probably 50%, if not more, less likely of people to come back to us. So it's quite surprising, And also, I always say is be very open with your salary bandings. So people will move between £3,000 and £5,000 salary uplift. So if you've put a salary, say a power planner up to 50k, for example, okay, you're only really going to attract candidates up to between 40 and 45k. So add an extra 5k onto that. That doesn't mean you're willing to go to that level, but it does mean you're going to attract that next level of candidate just that you might potentially want, and then you never know, you might have a little bit of flex in your salary if they're an absolutely outstanding candidate. But really think about that 3 to 5 salary banding. And just to go on to your point there about the video side, Phil, absolutely cannot agree more. If you can get your staff to do that, absolutely. When we've said this before to some clients, they maybe don't like doing that, but if not, you get on a video, you tell them why they should be working with you. And we do a lot of landing pages with videos interviewing our clients to tell them what it's like to work there. What does the day-to-day duties look like? It brings you to life. So look at videos are really powerful tools. What you said there, Phil, is bang on for sure.
So in a bit actually on another slide, and I'd be interested to know why some of your employers don't like doing video. And the next thing I would say about the job advert is include the following. This is a marketing exercise. The clue is in the word advert. An accurate job title, and you can see the other things on there. Key skills and attributes, description of the business. Don't leave your candidate in any doubt about what you do, who you do it for, and the benefits of work that you deliver to clients. What the role involves, the location. I think that's incredibly important. Whether you offer hybrid working, I know to our candidates at Yardstick that is a very important thing, as is the benefit package. And then, really specifically, what you want them to do when they apply. So here at Yardstick, And we ask for generally 2 or 3 things: covering letter, CV, and portfolio of the work, if appropriate. Not for all our roles, portfolio of work is appropriate. And often the case, I can't imagine when you're applying for a financial advisor job or a power planner job, portfolio of work necessarily applies, but the first 2 might. How often do we get those 3 things? About 1% of the time. It's a tiny proportion of the time, but those candidates absolutely shine through. If we get that 2 or 3 things, depending on the job role, we know we're on to a winner. It's almost a guaranteed interview when we get that. And then when it comes to actually writing it, and here at Yardstick, our content team writes quite a lot of job adverts these days on behalf of some of our larger clients. And that's because the larger clients have turned on to the fact that this is a marketing challenge. Suggest writing it in the first person, be clear, include subheadings. So one of the key things or key problems you often see with a job advert is it's just a block of text, massive block of text. And most people are reading this online, perhaps on a mobile device. So if you insert subheadings into the job advert that explains the key points about the role, it's not questions that you then answer in the body text. It's key points about the role. If somebody skims that job advert, they will read and see what happened next. They will read and see the subheadings. So they'll get the key messages. Subheadings are incredibly important in any form of writing: blogs, guides, award entries, etc. So use them to your advantage here. Short sentences, short paragraphs, bullet points, make it easy for people to read. So for me, job number 1, get your advert right. Make sure you're selling the role. Make sure it's exciting and it's vibrant. Lewis, would you add anything in that?
God, look at me being an amateur and having me muted. No, I have to agree with them points. Not too wordy. I think we have a tendency of adding too much in there. And when we send it over to clients, we then have to kind of take that information and really kind of decode it a little bit. We do send a real, like a template over to our clients, but once we get that back, we kind of decode it a little bit and then break it into like bite-sized chunks. So when we do our marketing and our engagement, we can then basically send it to candidates in like a drip format, if that makes sense, to really get them to buy into the job and what it's got to offer.
So number 2, get your website right. Your website, some people may speculatively look for a role at a certain business. High-profile financial services businesses that are known to do good work often get people looking for a role going onto their website and seeing if they've got any vacancies open right now. I know one firm that we work with, multi-award winning for multiple years, based in Yorkshire. And they'll ask you candidates. They haven't, unfortunately, used a recruitment consultant. They haven't even need to go to LinkedIn because they've had people going to their website.
Brilliant.
And their website does a few things. First thing it does, it displays all roles that are open in that business. So one page with, 2 or 3 roles that are open in that business. They don't try to explain on that page what the role is about. They don't have the job advert on that page. The advert is contained on a sub-page or a child page. So it might go homepage, job roles, and then the individual job adverts. If they don't have any jobs open at that point, any roles open at that point, we encourage them to put up a message, something along the lines of, we're always looking for good people. We always want good people to come and join us. And therefore, it encourages people to send in speculative CVs. I would also add that page, make it easy to find, add it to the main navigation. There's obvious places to put it. And then also link to it from your team page. So if you imagine you've got a team page, with maybe 9 images on it, put a 10th on there. Is this you? Would you come and join our team? And then link that through to the careers page. So there's all sorts of things you should be doing on your website, but you do need to get it right to encourage speculative CVs coming in, but also to make sure that other people get the information that they need. And again, you could put videos on there as well, and we'll talk about that in more detail.
To add on that one, Phil, I always say put yourself in the candidate's experience. So if it is really hard work on your website to send their CV or fill in an application page, you're less likely to get them to apply directly. So really make it as simple as you can just to increase your chances. So yeah, that's something I'd always like, a little top tip that we always say as well.
Exactly. I agree with that. Number 3, we need to impress potential candidates with what I would call client-driven social proof. And that's because potential candidates to work for your business want to know you are doing good for your clients. They want to know that they're working for a financial planning firm, a financial advice firm, or any type of business that is doing good work and adding value to its customers and its clients. So candidates, I believe, will check you out online before applying to understand whether they want to work for you, to help with an application, you would hope, and prepare for an interview. So I know one of the best applications we ever had was from Abby Robinson, who Lewis knows. Now, Abby joined us 2.5 years ago. It's fair to say Abby's CV wasn't necessarily perfect for the role she applied for, but she put a portfolio of her work together. She put her CV in. She put a covering letter with it. She put her portfolio and CV in Yardstick's brand colours, so it stuck out. We interviewed her, turned out to be perfect. She's been with us for 2.5 years. So there's all sorts of reasons why someone might check you out online before getting in touch. In that case, it was Abby trying to find out what our brand colours are. But other candidates might do it because they want to understand whether they want to work with you, to help with an application, to prepare for an interview. And the same things that impress potential clients of your business will impress potential employees. That might be online reviews with Google and vouched for, might be client survey results, and it might be videos. And then the flip side of that is social proof that from your team that impresses potential candidates. And I think there's a few things you can do here. The first is I would encourage everybody here to consider using Glassdoor. Now, Lewis, we did a bit of a poll, didn't we, when people signed up to this webinar about Glassdoor?
And I think every single person, bar 2 people, are not using Glassdoor. And I think 2 people aren't even aware what Glassdoor is. So, yes, this is quite an important one, because when we speak to candidates, they are very much aware of Glassdoor and they are very much checking it. And if someone's not on there, they look at other means to check out a company. So it is definitely something you should be aware of, definitely for that employer brand piece.
So let's encourage a bit of audience participation, if that's okay, and see who's listening and who's awake. If you don't use Glassdoor and you're on the webinar, can you just put a note in the chat to explain why you don't use Glassdoor? What are the barriers to using it? What are you concerned about? What are you anxious about with Glassdoor? And while you're doing that, I'll explain a little bit about what Glassdoor is. So essentially, if you've got TripAdvisor for restaurants, vouched for financial advisors and financial planners, Glassdoor allows your current and former employees to go and rate their experience of working with you. They rate you out of 5 stars. There are some subheadings, and they can put the pros and cons of working with you. Now, normally, when we explain Glassdoor to people, especially employers and business owners, they fold their arms, they get a bit grumpy, or you get a lot of negativity about using it because they immediately jump to the worst case scenario. of disgruntled employees, current or former, going on and getting a bit ranty and explaining why they hate their job, they hate their boss, etc. The problem is current or former employees can do that already. Yeah? They can go and leave a review on Glassdoor, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So my view is we need to turn this into a positive. Get on the front foot, get ahead of the game, build your own profile on Glassdoor, and then curate your reviews. Ask current and former employees to leave a review. Clearly, if you've got someone you know is disgruntled, you are not going to go and solicit a review from them. But go to current and former employees. Those you're confident that would say positive things about you. Doesn't need to be entirely positive. You want it to be authentic. Go and ask them to leave reviews. Because I guarantee you, if you don't, the first review you get will be a negative one. And then you're scrabbling around trying to put positivity on top of the negative review. Happened at Yardstick. We had someone do it 4 years ago. And that's what alerted us to the benefits of Glassdoor. So what have people said, Lewis?
So we've got one here, don't have time to do it. We've got ex-employees, not current ones, leaving reviews. Wasn't aware of the benefits it would provide. Comes 3 there.
So I think in terms of time, Aspen, I know how busy you are. But what I would say in terms of time is just think about the benefits of doing it. If a couple of hours to set up a Glassdoor profile and then 5-minute conversation with 5 employees asking them to do it, that's going to save you a lot of time, A, if you ever get a negative review, and B, it is going to filter candidates, which makes it easier, makes recruitment easier. Scott, ex-employees, not current ones, leaving reviews. Not sure what you mean by that, Scott. Maybe
ex-employees, so his previous employees are leaving reviews, but not his current ones. So maybe he's getting more negative ones potentially. Maybe an indication to that.
Yeah, perhaps Scott would like to clarify that. But one of the things we do at Yardstick, we go to we've got a rota, and we go out to members of staff probably once a year and say, would you leave a review? At that point, we don't do anything to curate what they say. Right. We don't write it for them. We just go and give them carte blanche. It's really useful, the feedback that we get. And it's something that just huge benefits. We've got 44 reviews on Glassdoor now. The platform itself with Glassdoor is a bit iffy. It's not great, but huge benefits. Lewis, do you think most candidates will go and look a company up on Glassdoor?
I wouldn't say most, but I'd say it does become part of it. I think because the nature of our business, a lot of the businesses that we work with are slightly smaller firms, so maybe they're not big enough to have Glassdoors, but certainly the ones that are actively growing, maybe going on an acquisition train at the moment and currently acquiring businesses, and they're starting to build, we suddenly see that becomes more important. And looking at some of the people that are in here today are at that size where it should be important. And then when we are speaking to candidates, if they do have a positive Glassdoor, then we always put that at the forefront, particularly in our email engagement for our clients, to go, look, this is a positive. This is what people are saying working there, which is a benefit.
Yeah, and once you've got the reviews on Glassdoor, it's a bit like your Google and Vouchable reviews. You don't just leave them on the platform; you move them into your marketing.
Absolutely. So, on your website, everything like that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Website, Zub advert, all sorts of places. Other types of team-driven social proof. Team member survey. We do one a year at Yardstick. Goes down well. Really useful. We get an employer NPS. So team member survey, and then publishing the results again shows you an open, transparent employer who wants to understand how their staff feel about the role in working for the business. And then again, videos. And in terms of videos, I would, moving on to tip 5, I think they're just fabulous social proof. We've all got a studio in our pocket now with our iPhones. You could edit it yourself, come to your friendly specialist marketing agency to edit it. And some examples of questions. What's the best thing about working at the Yardstick agency? Or what's the best thing about working at Smith and Wardle? Would you recommend working at ePowerPlan? How would you describe the culture at Antony George? Those sorts of questions. 20-second answers. Really short, sharp answers. And then use those videos throughout your marketing. There's so many places that you can use them. On the careers page on your website, on the job adverts pages, rather than a heading, what's it like to work at wherever. Don't take our word for it. Watch this video and Lewis will tell you what it's like to work for us. Use it in your social posts as well. We know how much video engages with people more than just a static image on social media, especially on LinkedIn, which is probably the primary channel for recruitment marketing in this space. So huge benefits to videos. And the barrier to producing videos is so low. There's people on this call who could go and stick a mobile phone in front of their staff this afternoon, give them one of the questions, get them to answer it, edit it overnight, put it on People Per Hour, 5 or somewhere like that. You can have a video on your website tomorrow. The barrier to doing it is so low, but the benefits are so high. And one of the key benefits that's not on the slides is that you'll stand out. There are very, very few firms, I think, doing this, Lewis. I think there's very few firms getting their team members on video to promote working for the business. Is that fair, Lewis? Not many people are doing it.
Very, very few. And even when I broker the conversation to say, look, I want to create a landing page, and when candidates, when we speak to candidates, I want a video or an interview. They're like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? So they're quite hesitant, but the ones that do massively stand out. And then the feedback that we get from candidates, like, wow, no, thank you, I've got no questions. Like, when can I come to interview? Because you've articulated why they're recruiting, the vision of the business, what their journey looks like, all them key questions of what candidates want from a business, and all the stuff that you tell us. Sometimes we can sing about it and talk about it to our heart's content, but if you say it yourself, it's like dealing with it directly with the horse's mouth, so to speak. It creates so much more conviction, for sure.
And connection as well. Right,
Yeah.
number 6. Spoke about that firm earlier. Client of ours they're very high profile in the profession, and that profile means that when somebody is looking at a move, whether it's an administrator, power planner, advisor, they will go and look at high profile firms' websites. I would like to work for that firm. Let's go and see if they've got any vacancies open. I'd like to go and look at that firm as well. So your profile in the profession, I believe, is absolutely linked to your ability to find, attract, and retain good quality staff. So what can you do there? Things like awards. Awards are incredibly important, and I'll come to one that's specific in a minute. But awards are incredibly important. And I'm convinced there is a link from my firm in Yorkshire and the numerous awards they've won and the recruitment opportunities that it presents. Press coverage, personal finance press, trade press. Easier to get in the trade press than the personal finance press, but it's becoming easier with services like Newspage from Dominic Hyatt's team to get in the personal finance press. Speaking at events. Lewis, we were at an event last week, and there was advisors on panels speaking.
Yeah.
There was advisors doing individual speaking slots to 50, 7,500 people. That raises their profile in the profession. Finding ways of supporting the advice and planning community, sharing your local PFS, getting involved there, and then building that reputation for giving back. If you increase your profile in the profession, you will attract, like a magnet, potential recruits. No, is there anything that you'd add to that?
Yeah, I'll definitely add on that. So I spoke at, if I look at PA360, I spoke at PA360 all about retaining good staff members. And sitting on panel with me was two wonderful business, one based up in Scotland and head of people from Saltus. Two fantastic business that I was on panel with, and absolutely great to be working alongside them. But that gives their businesses that credibility piece. And you don't pay to be on panel, so you go on and give your advice against potentially a room full of 50, 60, 100 people talking about why your business is different. And you're raising your whole business profile immediately. That's your social proof. You can get videos so that you can capture all the information, and that you can put out consistently, for 6+ months effectively on your content.
Huge benefits of doing it. And one award that I would, if you have a certain size as a business, I would consider this. And this is the best financial advisor firm to work for award. That is linked to the Professional Advisor Awards. For anybody that's in a B2B business, Michelle, that probably includes you in that category. I believe there's a partner award for best financial services firm to work for. And it's a list rather than an outright winner. So there was maybe 15, 20 firms who got this, maybe it's an accreditation rather than an award. That's maybe a better way of putting it. But in terms of your marketing, it's incredibly powerful to say we were one of the best advice firms, one of the best financial services place to work last year. There you go, Michelle. And from the advisor award, I think the minimum is 15 employees. So there's plenty of people on this call who have got that number of employees. It's an employer questionnaire to start with, and then an employee survey. So it's a survey of your staff, which again might make some people a little bit nervous. But for me, there's two benefits of this. The first, if you pay the fee, because there is a fee for getting the data, it's free to enter, but if you want the data, there's a fee. I think it was a few £100, it wasn't massive. Then you're killing two birds with one stone. You're getting that feedback from your team. But you also, if the feedback is good enough, included on the list of firms who win the award or get the accreditation. So I would say look it up. I was at the Professional Advisor Awards, when was it? March? April? And halfway through, all the firms that were included in this got up on the stage, lovely photo. But then it's an opportunity to promote it. This webinar is about marketing. And if you win the award, you've then got to PR the success. So promote it, keep promoting it week after week, month after month throughout your marketing. And I'm not saying any of the things in here are a golden bullet, but it builds up a picture. And that is one that I would absolutely encourage anybody on this call to go and look at when those awards open, which will be Christmas time, January next year. Tip number 8, LinkedIn. Now, Lewis, you might say differently, but I think LinkedIn's incredibly important from a recruitment perspective.
I do.
And what would I be doing here? I'd be writing regular posts on LinkedIn promoting vacancies. There is a stat that only 1 in 5 of your connections see each of your LinkedIn posts. It doesn't quite work this way, but the logic is if you extrapolate that, you need to post the same thing 5 times for everybody to see it. Like I say, it doesn't quite work that way, but gets the message across. So it's not good enough just to post once. You've got to post multiple times about it. And the natural feeling among many people is when they're posting recruitment job adverts, is to do it from the corporate account. But I would do it from both personal and corporate accounts. We all know, because we're probably all on LinkedIn, that we're more likely to engage with a personal account than we are a corporate account. So yeah, keep the corporate account ticking over, but do more of this from your personal account. Stick some social proof in the comments as well. So you might put your job advert up, but then in the comments, click this video to go and see what it's like to work with us. Go and read our Glassdoor reviews. Here are our client survey results. Build that social proof up, not in the main post, but in the comments below it. It's always valuable to go back to a post on LinkedIn, 20 minutes, half an hour after you posted it. Just stick a little PS on there. For some reason, that always increases engagement. And then, also to increase engagement, go and get your team to comment on the post and like it or engage with it. Because that, again, will feed LinkedIn's algorithm. But do not click the share button. LinkedIn's own algorithm hates LinkedIn's own share button. I don't know why, it just does.
Crazy, isn't it? You've got to really be on top of the changing of the algorithms all of the time. You know, it's like that is like a full-time job in itself, you know.
Yes, it is. And you can get distracted by the LinkedIn algorithm and try and game the algorithm, and that actually distracts you from doing what you should be doing, which is posting regularly and adding value. But if there are some quick wins, then I would embrace them, and that is one of them.
Yeah.
So post natively on LinkedIn your job vacancies, post them regularly, and get your team to go and support those posts. Then also on LinkedIn, consider, this is not for everybody, but consider cold outreach. So turn on the I'm hiring badge, then use the search facility on LinkedIn to identify potential candidates. View their profile, go and look at their profile to demonstrate you are interested in them and understand whether they're the right fit, and then get in touch. Send them a message. Send them a connection request with a covering 300 characters, or go and get a premium account and use some in-mails. But start that cold outreach. And if you do it in the right way, you won't get pushback, you won't get negativity. You might get ignored, which is fine, but you won't get pushback, you won't get negativity. And then if someone's not interested, it's not right for them, the time's not right, ask them if they know anybody else. Ask them if they know somebody else who they could introduce you to. Like I said, not for everybody, but it can work. And then the last thing from a marketing perspective, number 10, one of the things that's worked really well at Yardstick is asking our team to introduce us to candidates and incentivize them. We pay £1,000 to our staff for successful hire. Successful hire is defined as somebody who passes their probationary period. We're not going to pay the money until the person's passed their probationary period. But that's how we define a successful hire. And it works incredibly well for us. And those people, the same thing as a warm referral into a financial planning business. A warm referral into a financial planning business will always convert better than a cold lead from somewhere else. The same is true. The same is true here. So those are my top 10 tips for helping use marketing to improve your recruitment. Lewis, back to you.
Love that. Absolutely brilliant. And Phil's come back with a comment saying that we really valued the best advisor feedback, both to help improve our offering to staff, but also recruitment. All recruits mention it. We do it every year due to we do it every other year due to time commitments. Absolutely right. When you get, when you get that award, and be shortlisted, it's a big moment, and the feedback you get is so good, so absolutely brilliant, Phil. Great that you're doing that and you've seen the value in that. And if any of you haven't, make sure you research it and see when you can get involved, because it's definitely worthwhile for sure. Definitely.
Glassdoor to the things that you review. Really interesting that very small proportion of people on here are using Glassdoor. For me, it's an absolute revelation. It's helped us improve the business.
Yeah.
And it's helped us recruit the right candidates.
Absolutely. Has anyone got any questions either for myself on the recruitment side or in Phil on the marketing side? We've got a combination of us both here. Use our knowledge, because we add so much value to our clients that are struggling to recruit, but also don't want to do it themselves. But if we go back to say what Phil was saying about the direct outreach, that works really, really well directly from yourself. So what we do for some of our firms where we're looking for quite really difficult roles to fill, our relationship with our clients, we work directly with them. Every 2 weeks we have a meeting, and we identify who would be applicable for their role. We've actually given a short list of candidates that we've tried to contact and they've not come back to us for any reason. We send them directly to our client. We get them signed up on LinkedIn. We give them a message to send, and we actually get a better hit rate by getting them going direct. And then at that point, we then take over again and we do the video interviewing, everything. But it's using the power of your position within your business to get it right. If you've got a member of your team that can do that work for you, it's all about getting that individual to join your business. It's thinking outside the box all of the time. So yeah, really good on the outreach piece. But some people are quite nervous about it, but don't be, really don't be.
Nothing bad will come of it.
No, absolutely. Well, look, Phil, if there's no other questions, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. We'll get the slides off of Phil. We'll also get the recording. So if you want to rewatch it again, and any questions at all from either of us, you want to help your marketing or your recruitment, you obviously know where we are. And thank you so much for joining us. And Phil, thank you again for another wonderful webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Lewis. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye-bye now.